certain expectations for our children. The mother does, and the father does, and the school system has to. And the child has to have certain expectations. And that we're not going to lower those expectations. And we have to do that, and parents have to find time to get to the school board at least once a year. If every parent says, I don't want to go, I'm going to hate it, because most people don't want to spend their evenings, once they've worked or whatever they've done, they don't want to go sit in some strange room with a bunch of strange people talking some strange language about budgets and all this kind of stuff. But if they showed up once and said, I'm only here because I care about my kids and I want to know what you intend to do about my child, especially the children in Ebert, the kids here, the kids there, the kids at Mitchell. You know, what are you going to do about those kids? What are you going to do about the kids at Cole that aren't learning? What are you going to do about it? And make them deal with that in front of them. But I just think that we have to find a way to spend more time nourishing our own children. You know, I think we all need to take a minute to help nourish kids. You'd be amazed. We had kids, the youthful offender system, we had kids who had nothing but F's. But when they got in the classroom out in that prison with other kids, all of whom had the same background, and we started talking about the importance of education, how smart they were, and how they started having a little success on their tests, you'd be amazed. They're up there worrying about their grades. Now, these are kids that flunked everything. But yet they were with a group of people who had the same background. And all of a sudden, learning something that wasn't uncool, it was okay. And you'd be surprised how smart some of them turned out to be. Some turned out to be very, very bright. And they could learn just like that. Well, I can remember teaching at Smiley Junior High, 1964, and I remember coming home and telling my wife, I said, I wish you could see my 8th grade class. I've got 3 black boys in there, one named Larry Farmer, who went on to Manual, who went on to play for UCLA, coach at UCLA, who's still coaching. One named Raymond Johnson, who now lives somewhere down south, I think down south. And one named Walter Green, who became the head of ROTC, and then contracted cancer, I think his senior year, passed away at 18. Those kids had all the class competing, so you would get the highest grade. Now, these are black children from East Denver, and they were competing to see who could get the highest grade in the class. So the whole class was trying to see who would get the highest history grade, and I'm loving it, and that's making me be a better and better and better teacher, because I'm excited, they're excited. And now, if you could do that in the 1960s, I'm just, no, you can do it in the year 2000, but you have to have teachers that care, and you have to have parents that insist that their kids learn. But to walk by Smiley this afternoon and watch all the black kids walking home empty-handed, something's wrong with that picture. They're walking home, no books, no backpack, and something's wrong with it. And the parents apparently don't say, don't you have any homework? And of course the kids, I'm sure, are falling behind. So it's a big, big problem, but it can be solved by us. But it's going to require our involvement, you know, our complete and total involvement with our children. Because the children are going to be what we make them. I mean, I think I'm probably a product of Eddie Groff and Fenimore Groff, you know, for whatever it's worth, you know. But I knew what they expected, and I also knew what would happen if I didn't live up to expectations. And I don't mean you got to beat children or anything like that. I mean, you got to just say, you know, you can forget that stereo, one more F, and you may not get a stereo until you're 25 years old. I mean, let them know that it's important to you that they learn, and that if they perform, then, you know, they can have, you know, little rewards. But there are consequences for not performing, because there will be consequences for not performing the moment they get a job and not perform. And so they need to develop the discipline and self-control. Well, as I'm getting up in age, I should be thinking about that, huh? I'll be 66 April 8th, which is next Sunday. I don't know that I would want any special kind of, I would just like to be remembered by my son and my grandchildren. Just remembered by them as a pretty good old grandpa and a pretty good dad. That's plenty. That's plenty.